This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 6. And it reads, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. And as we're commanded to do, go out and give warning to the sheep, the Israelites out there, your so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and our fellow brethren that were scattered amongst the heathen nations. Warning from the Lord, man, as it says also in Ezekiel 3rd chapter, man, and various other scriptures. So, first and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing his word in all truth and sincerity. To all, I want to say shalom. Don't prepare this lesson be edifying to the elect. So, this lesson will be centered on the coming, how do I say it, uproars of the people, the perilous times, that are on the horizon, and how through these unrighteous decrees and these, these different things that these the elites ultimately, but through their little minions, the mayors and the governors of the different states here in Babylon, how they're pushing towards chaos, So I'll start off with that first. So for any new listeners, this term is called order ab chaos, and it means the phrase order from chaos is loosely based on the Latin phrase ordo ab chaos, translated as out of chaos comes order, right? So this is what these devils are up to, man. This is what they're pushing, chaos, right? So that even in this little picture right here, it says order from chaos becomes order over freedom. And these Americans, they're all these, talking about freedom, this, freedom, that. But these devils, the elites, are taking the freedom from the people in order to so-called restore order. It says, this is often regarded as a means to impose totalitarian control over society. First, by creating chaos through various forms of subterfuge. Get that real quick.
Subterfuge,
which means deceit used in order to achieve one's goal, right? So this is how these devils operate: trickery, intrigue, deceivousness, evasion, deceit, deception, dishonesty, cheating, guile, cunning, right? Who's known as a cunning hunter? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Craft, who's known as the crafty, right? Pretense, fraud, you see it, trick, hoax, ruse. So this is what we're dealing with, man. We're dealing with the devil, which is starting with the the elites, these the Edomites, man. And they're pushing these different things in order to cause chaos, man. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this article. Excuse me. I have another article and a couple videos I want to play. Salakia. I want to play and get some scriptures, and that'll be the lesson. So this is from Zero Hedge, and it was published today, May 30th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, as coined by the beloved Apostle Tahar. And as it says in Jeremiah 30:7, and Daniel 12:1, it's going to be a time since it never was since there was a nation, man. But the elect shall be saved out of it, roughly paraphrasing, man. So it's going to be hell on earth for real. And you could already see, if you've been paying attention, it's already brewing up, man. So it says Boston on the brink as millennial mayor pushes decriminalization. It says Boston's 39-year-old Mayor Michelle Wu wants to follow in the footsteps of San Francisco, Philadelphia, Seattle, Denver, New York, and other liberal strongholds, right? So we already seen a lot of people, how bad it is over there in Chicago, San Francisco, even in, parts of New York and everything, different videos brothers have seen and everything. And due to, in particular with San Francisco, I'm thinking about due to, the decriminalization, or I forget how they said it, up to 1,000, anything under $1,000 is not, they can't get prosecuted for it. So they basically just get a slap on the wrist and get let free, So it's causing massive amounts of looting, and it's going on all around the that state, or that city over there, man, and we're over here, in Massachusetts, and not far from Boston, and we actually go down to Boston all the time to teach, and once this, goes forth, and they push this, unrighteous decree, because you're basically telling, people that it's okay to commit crime. This is becoming, like a Gotham or something, man. Where you just letting the criminals run rampant and just do whatever the hell they want, and there's no consequences, man. So it says, where property crimes, including grand larceny and motor vehicle theft, have seen a sharp increase in recent years. As the Daily Mail reports, Wu wants to make crimes including shoplifting and disorderly conduct off limits to prosecution. She also wants to include certain categories of breaking and entering, wanton and malicious property destruction, larceny under $250, and trespassing as non-prosecutable crimes. She did toss in drug possession, which is fine as long as crimes like disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace are enforced. So it says those who commit such wanton crimes will receive little more than a slap on the wrist. The offenses are all on a do not prosecute list that was created by former Suffolk County District Attorney Rachel Rollins, who later joined the Biden administration but resigned amid ethical violations, had advocated for the non-prosecution of more low-level offenses. During her 2021 campaign, Wu was asked by left-wing nonprofit Progressive Massachusetts whether she supports Rollins' list, to which she responded yes. When asked if she supported closing the Boston police gang database, she also said yes. She also supports firing any Boston Police Department employees involved in the January 6th protests in Washington, D.C. So this is the list right here. It says charges to be declined, charges for which the default is to decline prosecuting unless supervision or supervisor permission is obtained. Trespassing, shoplifting, including offenses that are essentially shoplifting but charged as larceny under $250, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, receiving stolen property, minor driving offenses, including operating with a suspended or revoked license. So there's just this in itself. There's lots of reasons why people will have a suspended license or a revoked license. Could have, DUI. It could have a vehicular homicide. So as this is happening, right, it makes sense that they would be kind of doing away with all this, because there's massive amounts of migrants coming into the country as well. So if they can just drive around without a license, operating with a suspended or revoked license, or maybe just not even having a license, that's just going to encourage more people, to basically go wild, man. Breaking and entering, uh, wanton or malicious destruction of property, threats, minor and possession of alcohol. So minors will just get a slap on the wrist if they have alcohol, so they can wild out. Drug possession, nothing. Drug possession with intent to distribute. So it's okay to keep the people all alcoholed up, drugged up, right? Resisting arrest, yeah. So so on and so forth, man. So it says the police gang database notably played a critical role in the federal bust of 40 individuals allegedly connected to a violent street gang, which had operated for years out of the Boston housing project. Excuse me. Wu, the city's first female and Asian American mayor, has promised to reallocate police funds to other city priorities and believes in demilitarizing law enforcement by eliminating the use of tear gas, rubber bullets, and police dogs. Further, Wu wants police records of use of force to be made public. Excuse me. Which critics say could endanger officers' safety. So at the same time that they're decriminalizing, these Slovakia. So at the same time that they're decriminalizing, these different offenses, they're basically, coming against the police and telling them that they can't do their job. So which is going to force the police, a lot of them, to start quitting, because they've already been quitting because of the different protests and, Black Lives Matter and all that, political mumbo jumbo that's been going on. So it's going to leave the citizens, to not even have a police force, which is part of their plan, because as the scriptures say, let's get that real quick. We always bring it out, it's always relevant. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? So, there's been lots of talks about these military age men that are coming into the country and possibly being UN troops. So if there's no police force and nobody to basically enforce the law, where does that leave the country but to declare martial law at some point, because it's going to be so crazy, because they're allowing people to do all this, right? It's going to be so crazy out here that they're going to be able to, excuse me, declare martial law and, basically send these UN troops who don't care about you Americans, you Babylonians, and they're going to be, going upside your head and shooting you down and doing all types of shit, man. A time such has never been since there was a nation, man, as the scriptures say. So it says, Boston about to get San Francisco. Boston mayor says she would support a policy that refuses to prosecute the following crimes: shoplifting, larceny, disorderly conduct, receiving stolen property, driving with a suspended license, breaking and entering with property damage, and so on and so forth, right? And he said, Lib's big ideas: let's treat criminals as law-abiding citizens. Let's treat law-abiding citizens as criminals, And this is, as the scriptures say, this is the turning of things upside down, man. This is how you know that these people that are running the planet are the wicked, man. This is all the wicked's doings, man. Devious doings. So this is another article real quick. Matter of fact, let me play this real quick, because this is what's going on. Hey, Salakia. And these are, I want to show this real quick. And this is what's going on, So as we read at the beginning, order of Chao, right? It said by first, I'll just read it all over again. The phrase order from chaos is loosely based on the Latin phrase ordo ab chao, translated as out of chaos comes order. This is often regarded as a means to impose totalitarian control over society, first by creating chaos through various forms of subterfuge, right? And we read the definition for that, right? Deceit. Then using this as an excuse to institute order, right? So they're going to cause the chaos in order to come in with the solution, which is what they wanted to do in the first place. So let's look at what happens when Miss Mayor Wu, right, decides that she's going to follow after the footsteps of San Francisco, Philadelphia, Seattle, Denver, and New York, and other, as they say, liberal strongholds, right? Other states that are following that same, method, right? So let's see. Let's get an example real quick. So this is from CBS News. This is fair use. This is for educational purposes only. So without further ado, here we go. It says over 50 people arrested in Philadelphia looting spree. This was 8 months ago. So without further ado, here we go.
Police in Philadelphia arrested dozens of people last night after a violent looting spree, a growing problem around the country that's forcing many retailers to take drastic measures. Tom Yamas has that story.
Tonight, more than 50 people are under arrest in connection with this overnight crime wave that hit Philadelphia. Officers tackling suspects ransacking businesses. Crowds of suspected thieves seen running from stores like Apple, Lululemon, and Foot Locker.
This is not shoplifting. This is looting. This is riot.
It's called organized retail theft. It's happening all over America, killing business and making shopping even more expensive. Target says crooks are forcing them to close 9 stores by October, saying theft is, quote, threatening the safety of our team and guests.
This Target in Oakland is one of the ones shutting down, and you can see what the shopping experience is like. You got deodorant, you have shaving cream, all locked up, even toothpaste. You have to call someone to help you buy one because of thieves.
But it's the crime outside of stores in Oakland that is terrifying residents. 10,000 cars stolen just this year. Burglaries and robberies also up. Last week, cameras captured this woman screaming in agony as thieves dragged her across the street trying to steal her purse. It mirrors another incident earlier this month.
When you see crime like that during the day, what does that tell you?
It tells me that there's a sense of lawlessness, that there are people in our community that don't fear being arrested.
LaRon Armstrong was the latest Oakland police chief to be fired.
Is it a free-for-all when it comes to crime in Oakland?
I think it's a combination of lack of enforcement and then not strong enough prosecution.
And now residents of Oakland say they've had enough, closing their own businesses in protest of a city they say can't keep them safe.
Letting violent crime criminals out as soon as they're apprehended and booked does not lead to public safety.
I consider it a state of emergency. I've never seen Oakland this way before.
Residents now calling for new leadership, tougher laws, and a turnaround before crime cripples their city. Tom Yamas, NBC News, Oakland.
Yeah, you see it. So this is all, leading to Jacob's trouble, Let's get that, I have it. I just pull it up real quick. This is all leading to Jacob's trouble, man, because, these devils, they want this, man. They want the chaos so they can justify coming in with the solution, man. This is Jeremiah 30:7. It reads, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he, meaning the elect of the nation of Israel, shall be saved out of it. So it's going to be so bad that we're going to need to be saved from it, man. And that's what, these churches and these false prophets are not teaching, man. They're not teaching of the perilous times that we're entering into, man. You brothers and sisters just seen that woman, broad daylight, getting her purse snatched, man. So let's look at this article, right? So this is from Natural News. This was published yesterday, and it says the U.S. economy is so bad that even dollar discount store chains are closing down. Now, I always, say this in my lessons through the Spirit. If people are already doing, these type crimes right here. Let's get this. Let's see. Right, so if people are already doing this, robbing jewelry stores and what have you, what are they going to start doing when they can't eat? Because inflation is still going up, as you see it, and people are not able to afford, their regular daily expenses. You know what I mean? Food, water, clothing, bills, right? So how are they going to act then? And nobody's making no money. Let's get that real quick, man. This is Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? We always go into this. The keepers of the house are going into the economist, man, right? When you look up the word economy, it literally goes into house management. So the keepers of the house of the economists, they're trembling. If you look at this video right here, I won't play it. I'll just read it real quick. It's from the Atlantis report. And it says 15 reasons that prove Americans will be wiped out by the economy this year. And it just has a couple examples right here. I'll just read it real quick. It says, as the year matures, the economic outlook for the average American is far from optimistic. Let's finish this real quick, right? In the days when the keepers of the house, the economists, shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. The grinders go into the jobs, and there's fewer and fewer jobs because the AI is taking over it. Every single day, they're replacing more and more people with technology, right? So the grinders are ceasing because they are few. And this is the point. And those that look out the windows be darkened, representing not seeing a future, man. There's no future here in Babylon, right? So it says, where was I at? Right here. It says, as the year matures, the economic outlook for the average American is far from optimistic, right? They're seeing that they're not seeing a future here, man. It's a grim reality that they're coming to see, man. Rising inflation, increasing debt, stagnant wages, high living costs, and other factors pose a significant threat to the financial stability of well-being of millions. This alarming scenario has, economists and financial experts on the edge, man. Right? In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble. That's what this is talking about. And it says here are 15 reasons why our economy is in trouble this year, man. So this is it's getting bad out here, man. Lucky. Okay. Let me see. Let me read a little bit of this. I don't want to make this too long. Get a couple more scriptures. So it says dollar stores have long been popular among bargain-seeking Americans. Matter of fact, the scripture just came to mind. Uh, the second Ezra 16 and 21, and it reads, Behold, victuals, meaning goods, shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they, the people, shall think themselves to be in good case. Right? So even though, this is still happening, you could still, go to different places. You might be able to go to your local farmers market and, different, stores in your neighborhood or what have you, and get stuff, relatively cheap, you know. But even then, as the scriptures say, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. So people, a lot of people still think that, America will bounce back and, America's just going through a rough patch. It'll be better soon and blah, blah, blah. But what does the scripture say, man? What does the Lord say? It says, and even then, right, when these people think that they're in good case, right, they think that shit is sweet. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth. What type of evils? Sword, right? Famine and great confusion, man. And that's the time that we're entering into, man. We've already been, but it's increasing day by day, man. It says dollar stores have long been popular among bargain-seeking Americans. So you'd expect business to be booming as the economy goes down the drain. However, it turns out the opposite is happening. The economy has gotten so bad that even dollar stores can't even open their doors. Can't keep their doors open. Excuse me. It says the California-based discount store chain 99 Cents Only recently announced that it will be closing every one of its 371 stores. Look at that. After several decades of selling discounted goods. So you're talking with stores like this are how a lot of people are staying afloat, man, with food and, their different goods, maybe paper plates, paper towels, toilet paper, stuff like that. So once this goes, and then they have to start going to stores like Target and Walmart or whatever, which, are still cheap, well, Target not so much, but, Walmart has, sometimes they have decent prices or whatever, but it's still expensive too compared to a dollar store, especially if you're already living paycheck to paycheck. So this is gonna further ruin people, man. It says the company is blaming the closure on a variety of economic factors, including inflation, shifting consumer demands, and the pandemic. It says meanwhile, the owner of Dollar Tree, a Family Dollar Tree, has recently announced that it will be closing almost 1,000 stores, with 600 locations set to close this year, and a further 370 going out of business when their store leases expire in the next few years, man. So it's getting bad out here, man. This will represent, roughly 50% of its total locations. The chain has been steadily rising its prices during the last few years and keeping them steady for decades. It is not unusual for dollar store prices to exceed $5, man. So this is where what we're headed into, man. So as as prices of everything continues to go up and people aren't able to work like they would normally do, excuse me, the scripture. It says, Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Right? So as we've seen in that video, more and more businesses in that article, more and more businesses are closing their doors, man. And more jobs are out there for people to get, right? And it says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, right? So wake up very early when the birds are chirping, right? And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And, talking about this music nowadays, which is absolute garbage. But the point being, and he shall rise, people are rising up to get jobs, and there's no jobs available like that. And if they are, they're not paying anything. And people have to work 2 and 3, sometimes 4 jobs if they can do it, just to make ends meet. So if people are going through all this, and now in these different cities, these different major cities like Boston, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Seattle, Denver, New York, are decriminalizing theft and looting. And what do you think people are going to do? If they can't eat, they can't afford to get food, but they still got to eat. The food pantry is already dried up, right? Because they done brought all these people from all over the world, taking up every damn thing, and people didn't have nothing in the first place. What do they think people are gonna do? They're gonna start wilding out, man. This is 2 Ezra 15, and I'll start at 14. And it says, "Woe to the world." Woe means destruction. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So the modern day sword would be a gun, but it could be a literal sword. It could be a machete, whatever, whatever, weapon, that person has, man. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, for they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people are not going to be caring what Mayor Wu or the governor or the president. They're not going to care what they have to say, because they're going to be going after whatever they need to feed their families, man. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? So once people start going ballistic all over the country, it's already been, protests all over the place, looting all over, and as it continues to boil up, they're going to send in those, those FEMA troops and those UN troops, man, and they're going to, set up checkpoints, and people aren't going to be able to just freely travel like they was able to before, because they're going to say, because of security reasons. The same thing like before 9/11, you was able to go onto a plane and it didn't take you a damn year to get through security. Now, after that, everything changed from that one event. And they use that to increase surveillance on the people, man. And this situation is no different. So it says, for because, 18th verse, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods. Spoil going to take, right? Their goods. Why? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. And this is what's coming, man. This is all in Jacob's trouble, man. This is the times that we're coming into, and we're seeing what these devils, through their unrighteous decrees, are setting up, man. Right before our very eyes, man. And that's why, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi have commanded his men to blow the trumpet in Zion and give warning. Let's get that real quick, man. This is Ezekiel. Let me see. Yeah, I'll do Ezekiel 3. Ezekiel 3 and 17. And it reads, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman. A watchman to who? Onto the house of Israel. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and our fellow brethren that were scattered amongst the heathen nations, but their seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? We were made watchmen to the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me, right? So as the scriptures say, make no tarrying, get that. That's Sirach 25:7, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's the other one. Is it 5:7? Yep. Yahawah, Yahawashi. Rock 5:7. KJV. Yep. It's Sirach, otherwise known as Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha 5:7. And it reads, make no tarrying, right? Meaning don't delay to turn to the Lord and put not off from day to day, right? For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance, man. So this isn't a game, man. This is not a game. You know, these prophecies are indeed coming to pass, man. This is Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? We're living in modern day Egypt, right? Egypt goes into bondage, man. And as the scriptures say, we are yet this day in our captivity. So this is Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? The Babylonians against the Babylonians, the Americans against the Americans, right? And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom, man. Why are they going to be doing this? Because of all the hell that is, all the chaos that is coming upon the earth, man. And this is why all this is happening, man. Because Babylon is falling, man. This is Jeremiah 51, and I'll start at 7. Babylon, aka America, have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, right, with the philosophies, right? The nations have drunken of her wine, right, philosophies. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be, she may be healed, right? So these people think that Babylon is going to bounce back. America's going to bounce back and she's going to be healed. What's the 9th verse say? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches onto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies, man. So judgment is coming to this place, man, by way of ICBM missiles, man, which are going to be shot from these other countries such as Russia, China, Iran, you know, and even some of these, because as the scriptures say, you know, these different nations are going to turn against that were in league with Babylon. They're going to turn against Babylon, man, you know, because this whore, you know, judgment is great, man. This is where that second death, man, that lake of fire, man, you know, is going to take place, man. You know, Babylon is going to be on fire from sea to shining sea, man. This place is going to be a desert where only desert creatures dwell, man. Thus saith the Bible, man. And personally, I can't wait. Let's get that, since I seen it already. You know, I hope and pray that I get to see the downfall of this whore, man. This is Sirach 25:7. And it reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, man. And we're seeing the fall not only of Babylon, right, aka America, but also of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man, you know, and all their lies, all their deceit, all their tomfoolery is all being put on Front Street, man. The Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, is making them bare, man, you know. So it's, you know, it's indeed a beautiful time to be alive, you know, and we you know, got to continue to, you know, seek the Lord 10 times more while he may be found, for you newer listeners out there, man. Because the times are indeed evil, man, you know? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I just wanted to do a blow the trumpet, you know, do a lesson on, you know, these devils, you know, moving, you know, with their wickedness and their unrighteous decrees and, you know, doing what they do. So, I hope and pray this lesson was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawah Yahawashi once again for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, taught me his truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening, learning. Find us good fight of faith. Keep fighting, keep striving, keep pushing. We're almost out of here. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. I want to say a ball, and Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, shalom. To the next one.